We get a lot of different funding for a lot of different programs. But I know you had mentioned for a certain percentage goes for people with like first time episodes. We do have with certain counties contracts where we save a certain amount of beds for people that have been in a state hospital for at any point in their life. So that way, if they're the most high need, that we have availability to take them first. And then we also have different agreements, like in Putnam County, we have an agreement where there might be someone that they're trying to help avoid hospitalization, and it's not our standard 5 to 7 days, but we actually get additional funding sometimes from that county to take people for 2 to 3 weeks so that they can find them the appropriate level of housing that would best meet their needs. Housing is a big issue. I think it's been brought up many, many, many times. But we do try to encourage people to contact us if they're staying at a community residence, and they, instead of going to the hospital, to come to us instead, to avoid the hospital. But they are usually people that have been transitioned from a state hospital, and we do, like I said, keep a certain amount of beds opened for those individuals.
So Jolene, do you ever have the situation where the hospital has filed to commit someone? The defense is there's a less restrictive alternative, one of the Rose houses, so they make that argument and not end up being locked up.
Yeah, so, like I said, we do have our staff embedded in the local hospitals, so they do interact with people that are going there because they feel like they're in crisis. So a lot of times people want to voluntarily go into the unit because they feel that that's where they need to be at that time, but we can offer the same support and resources at the Rose House. So we do try to get people over to the Rose House, and we have multiple houses around surrounding areas. So even if we're full, we try to transport, we'll kind of move people around to make sure that we meet those needs. I think that we do get pretty good support from the social workers and the people assessing individuals in the ED. So they'll actually bring up to someone if they don't feel that, if they could feel like they can avoid having them go inpatient, then they'll actually suggest that, they reach out to us and directly link us in that moment.
How about the situation where the hospital thinks the person should be hospitalized, and the patient says, "Oh, I'm entitled to be at Rose House instead"?
They probably, for our local hospitals, if the person is not saying they need to be there, unless they make a very serious, like suicidal threat to harm themselves or others, the hospital won't forcefully put them on the unit. Our local hospitals have really been trying to avoid hospitalization at all costs. We have seen that a lot. A lot of times people can, like what's called 945s, like the police or the Department of Behavioral Health has mandated that someone needs to go to the emergency department because they're so at risk and they need to be evaluated. But just because they get 945'd and brought to the ED by police, that doesn't necessarily mean they're actually going to be put on the unit. That's where we try to, if they're not going to put them inpatient, but they're still in need, they can come to us instead.